Imagine two doctors describing the same surgical procedure. One says, "This operation has a 90% survival rate." The other says, "This operation has a 10% mortality rate." Same facts, same reality. Yet patients react very differently. The difference isn't the data, it's the frame. How information is presented changes perception, emotion, and decision-making. Welcome to the psychology of framing and reframing, one of the most powerful tools for influence and control of perception. Humans rarely process information purely rationally. Our brains rely on shortcuts, context, and cues to make sense of the world. Framing leverages these shortcuts. The way you present information primes the brain to interpret it in a particular way, affecting feelings, judgments, and choices. Reframing flips negative perceptions, obstacles, or resistance into opportunities for engagement and influence. Science proves this. Kahneman and Tversky, pioneers in behavioral economics, demonstrated that people's choices are heavily influenced by framing, even when underlying facts are identical. This is known as prospect theory. We weigh losses more heavily than gains, but how you present those losses or gains dictates our response. A simple shift in wording or perspective can make a product, proposal, or situation more appealing, less threatening, or more persuasive. Let's step into a story. Lisa runs a small startup. Her investor hesitates on funding, citing risk. Instead of countering with raw numbers, she reframes. Imagine this as capturing untapped market potential with controlled risk. Others are hesitant, but that's what creates opportunity. By shifting the frame from risk to opportunity, Lisa changes perception without altering reality. The investor, now seeing potential instead of threat, nods thoughtfully. Framing doesn't create facts, it reshapes how facts are interpreted. Reframing works in daily life too. Imagine someone criticizes your work. A natural reaction is defensiveness, but you can reframe. Instead of "they're attacking me," think "they're pointing out an opportunity for improvement." Same input, completely different emotional and behavioral output. Your brain responds differently. Stress decreases, focus increases, action becomes constructive rather than reactive. Even mundane examples show the power. "This task is overwhelming" becomes "this task is a chance to learn and grow." "I failed" becomes "I gained valuable feedback to improve." The brain doesn't distinguish between actual change and perceived change. The frame dictates response. Reframing is a mental lever that transforms obstacles into opportunities. Here's a deeper layer: social influence through framing. Consider sales, negotiation, or persuasion. Present a product as a gain. You'll save $200 a month. Frame it as avoiding a loss. Don't miss out on $200 savings each month. Both statements describe the same reality. Yet loss avoidance triggers stronger urgency due to human loss aversion. Mastering framing allows you to guide perception and action without coercion. Let's practice reframing interactively. Take a situation causing stress or resistance. Write it down. "I'm behind on this project." Now reframe. "I have an opportunity to prioritize and focus on the most important tasks first." Feel the shift. The emotional weight lightens. Your brain now interprets the challenge as solvable, actionable, and meaningful rather than overwhelming. That's reframing in action. Here's another real-world scenario. A company faces declining sales. Instead of panic, the CEO reframes, "Our current challenge highlights untapped customer segments and innovation opportunities." The same data exists, but perception changes morale, creativity, and strategy. Teams respond proactively instead of defensively. Framing guides cognition and behavior. Even subtle linguistic shifts create enormous influence. Words like challenge versus problem, risk versus opportunity, or failure versus feedback prime the brain differently. Framing isn't manipulation, it's strategic communication that aligns perception with desired outcomes. Reframing also works on relationships. A friend cancels plans. Instead of feeling rejected, think, They must need time or space. A colleague criticizes your idea. They care enough to help me improve. Small mental shifts reduce conflict, enhance empathy, and improve social influence. By controlling frames, you control reactions, both your own and others. Here's the actionable framework. Identify the default frame, how a situation, fact, or interaction is currently perceived. Determine the desired perception, what outcome or emotional state you want to elicit. Rephrase or present the information to align with that perception. Use words, metaphors, or emphasis strategically. Observe responses, adjust frames subtly to maximize clarity, influence, or receptivity. Practice internally. Reframe your own thoughts to reduce stress, enhance focus, and increase creativity. For persuasion, combine framing with storytelling. Present facts within a narrative that emphasizes gains, opportunities, or shared values. The story acts as the frame, making abstract concepts tangible and emotionally resonant. Human brains respond to narrative first, logic second. Frame the story and you shape perception effortlessly. Here's an advanced technique: double reframing. If someone resists, reframe their objection from their perspective, then reframe it from yours. Example: you think the project is risky, their frame, but that shows you care about stability. Here's how controlled risk can lead to growth, your frame. This method respects their perception while guiding them toward a new interpretation. Even in self-perception, framing shapes behavior. Viewing mistakes as learning opportunities rather than failures increases resilience, creativity, and decision-making speed. Viewing rejection as feedback rather than judgment fosters persistence and confidence. The frame dictates not just perception, but emotional and behavioral outcomes. Here's a practical exercise. Write down 3 situations causing negative emotions or resistance. Reframe each one positively or constructively. Repeat aloud, visualize the new frame, and notice emotional response changes. Apply reframing in conversations by shifting wording from threats or losses to opportunities and gains. Here's your call to action. This week, consciously frame and reframe at least 3 interactions: work, social, or personal. Watch how people's reactions shift. Reflect on your own responses. Notice stress decrease, engagement increase, and influence grow, all by presenting the same facts differently. Because the truth is profound, perception is reality. Change the frame and you change the world around you. Every word, every story, every emphasis has power. Use it wisely.